Okay, here we have TOMY's giant robot bulldozer. You have a remote control. Whenever you push it, then the top of the robot's headlights, and you can change whether it's going to go forward or whether it's going to go backward or whether it's going to turn. There's various different ways it can turn. This requires D-cell batteries, and I really require some D-cell batteries myself. These are getting very weak. See if we can get it to turn towards, here we go. See if I can do it. See, it turned one tread motor off and the other on. It also has a mode where it reverses the two tread motors. See if we can find that. That was the other direction. There was an off position. That one backing up and the other one off. So every time you poke the button, you change a sequencer in there that changes which motors are running. And every time you push the button, you notice the robot's arms and legs move. That tells you that it's changing sequence. Like you say, I'm running just the one tread to turn. I'm running the other one. Now we're going backwards. Now both treads are turning opposite each other, so that's a real tight turn. This toy is big enough a kid could ride on it. It is that big. That's why it's surprising that it, I'm in the stop mode, that it was even sold. You can see the box back there is all in Japanese. And it was TOMY's largest, as far as I know, remote controlled robot tank. And it's just odd. I mean, it must have been an expensive toy. Japanese houses aren't large and weren't large back in the 60s and even in the 70s. Well, even today. And to have a toy that big aimed at their own market and for their own kids that's big enough that a kid can ride on is very strange. But apparently these are very rare, and even rarer to find them in working condition. And this one would work better if I hadn't played with it for 2 hours yesterday with the same 4 D cells. And I thought I'd go in the house and get some new D cells for today's video, but there weren't any in the house. So we're still running on the same D cells that it had originally. But anyway, you got to see the thing in action, and it really is huge. What else can I say? The original box, the original robots. The really long antennas on both devices kind of make me think of the Radicon type circuit, but this uses a 9-volt battery in the transmitter, and there's a 9-volt battery in the robot for the receiver, and 4 D cells. The tricky thing about putting the D cells in on the bottom is you look around and there aren't any markings telling you which way to put them in, and if you put them in wrong, it's not going to work. Well, on the very bottom of the battery box, they have circles, large circles and small circles. So you have to interpret that as the large circle, meaning that's where the negative end should go, and the small circles where the positive end should go. But there you have it. Let's do a flying zoom in here. Get you a little closer. You can look it all over. And the box. Still all intact. Huge box. Can you imagine shipping or putting that even in a store shelf? I mean, where would they find space big enough to put that? It's just some packing. So there you have it. TOMY's giant robot bulldozer.